Hello everybody and welcome to Northeast Ohio Now, where we shine a spotlight on the people and organizations that are helping shape the neighborhoods throughout Northeast Ohio. I'm Dave Bacon. In today's episode, we're visiting the heart of Cleveland's West Side to learn more about the community filled with a rich history, vibrant culture, and big plans for the future. Today we're featuring the Westown Community Development Corporation. The WCDC has been operating as an independent, incorporated nonprofit agency since 1994. And joining us first is someone who knows all about the ins and outs of the community, the Executive Director of the Westown CDC, Rose Zitiello. Rose, appreciate the time. Take us through a couple of the top priorities for Westown CDC for the next year or two.
Yes, thank you for the invitation. It's nice to be back at my old alma mater here at Cleveland State University. So our number one priority, and our priorities are pretty much guided by two principles. Number one, funding, of course. So priorities set by the City of Cleveland and then approved and sort of ratified by our Board of Directors. So at this time, and actually for the last 3 years, it has been stabilization of our housing, especially for our elderly and those on fixed incomes. We have approximately 10,000 units of housing in the Westown service area, and they range from early 1900s to on our eastern border to more the West Park bungalow style on the western border, and then in the middle we have a mishmash of century homes on the beautiful West Boulevard, and two families, which were established for families and early immigrants that were supporting extended families. So in order to kind of make our programs and the programs out there available is a moving target. The eligibility program and the programs change sometimes annually, income guidelines, verification processes. So we have to sort of use a triage approach. So each applicant is basically a new opportunity. So we have to sit down with them and go over all of their housing needs, and then we kind of identify what programs are out there that can meet them. Sometimes it's one program and sometimes it's multiple. And at any given time, we probably have 40 to 50 people in the queue, whether they have already met eligibility, application's been submitted, and we're just waiting for approval or a contractor assignment. And most of these are no-cost, low-cost grants. But one of the challenges is that most of the programs have gone to an online application, digital portal setup. And we have a digital divide in the City of Cleveland. Some neighborhoods more than others, and some areas of neighborhoods more than others. So we have a mixed bag because we have some very low income census tracts, and then we have some very mixed, and then some higher income census tracts. So depending on the situation with the resident, whether they're a homeowner or a tenant, will dictate how much time it may take to get that application submitted. So I would say we spend about an hour to two per applicant to make sure they're getting everything that they are entitled to.
So something comes to mind right away. It's got to be a challenge, and it's got to be really satisfying because you have such a wide variety of people in this that you're serving. Yes,
and housing needs. Cleveland winters take a toll. And if folks are on a fixed income and they're facing increases in labor, materials, the county did a reappraisal last year, their 6-year, sexennial evaluation, and a lot of folks saw increases in their property taxes, which is also a challenge.
Well, when we think of this area, everybody thinks about Lorraine Avenue. That's kind of the lifeline through it. How does your organization help preserve the unique history of Lorraine Avenue in that area?
Great question. So Lorraine Avenue is part of what is a 7-mile retail from Cam's Corners all the way to Ohio City, ending at the West Side Market. So we have a big swath of it. We're from approximately West 130th to West 90th Street. And there are two historic districts along Lorraine Avenue. One is the Variety Village Historic District, and we worked very closely with the City of Cleveland to identify various funding sources through the state, through the federal government, ODOT, and a $5 million street resurfacing and streetscape project was recently completed there with street trees, new signalization, street resurfacing, and public art. And not a surprising result of that was we saw a lot of private investment follow that public investment, from corporate franchises to privately owned businesses. We saw probably about $6 million in investment following that streetscape improvement. So you don't see a lot of vacancies between West 117th and 130th. That's our sort of the heart of the Variety Village Historic District. It is very vibrant. There is a retail bank there, which shows you the economic viability.
So what role do local businesses play in the revitalization of Westown?
Well, one of our core services is providing technical assistance to small businesses, anything from zoning, permitting, getting them through local design review or landmarks commission, applying for permits. And most of your small business owners are pretty savvy. What they don't like doing is working with bureaucracies. So we provide services sort of like a mini city hall, so they can avoid, parking and going through the various departments at City Hall. Now, this past year, in the other historic district along Lorraine, is called the Lorraine Station Historic District. And that's roughly West Boulevard to West 90th Street. That was a very important transportation hub in the 1800s. 1888 was the first horse-drawn trolleys, and the trolley car barns were located at West 98th and Lorraine Avenue, followed by the electric cars and the City of Cleveland's Interurban, which operated here through the early 1900s until, industrialization and Akron rubber created the demand for tires and buses. But so that's a very important high-density neighborhood. At one time, there was 4 bakeries, 3 taverns, a laundromat, 6 outdoor markets, 4 taverns, and we're talking about a 10-block area, so it's very dense. It is a historic district, so it is very difficult to have buildings demolished. We did a complete inventory of the district about 7-8 years ago and identified significant areas for investment, similar to what's happening further east in Ohio City. So we sort of led the charge. Our board agreed, and we acquired a building that was built in about 1880. It had a grocery store and a laundromat on the first floor and apartments upstairs. The building had been vacant for, maybe 10, 15 years. And probably, a few more years it would have been condemned. So we have completely restored it to historic standards, and our office moved in a year ago. And we have PCs for people on the first floor, and Ashbury Senior Center operates a digital learning center also on the first floor. And so we've seen a lot of investment in the Lorraine Station Historic District now. And within the last, second quarter of this year, of 25, We submitted 8 small business grants to the City of Cleveland for small businesses in that district. 4 have been approved and 4 are pending. And so we're very excited to see some new vibrancy come to the district. I'd also like to mention that the Cleveland Food Bank is going to be establishing a community center at 9830 Lorraine Avenue. They announced it last year. So we're anticipating, they are, based on their research, approximately 50,000 people a year will be served at that community center and distribution center.
Before I let you go, what are some of the things that make you smile, and how do you measure success?
Well, I think we have to measure success in small increments. Every once in a while we do get a surprise and we do have a large success, but I would say our most rewarding work is working with the people, whether they're tenants, residents, business owners. When we see them achieving success, it makes our work very worthwhile.
Rose Zitiello, the Executive Director of Westown Community Development Corporation. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. Time for us to take a quick break here on Northeast Ohio Now. We will continue to shine the spotlight on Westown, that area on the west side of Cleveland. We'll be right back after this timeout.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason. Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
We continue to spotlight the Westown neighborhood of Ohio on the west side here on Northeast Ohio Now. And we're pleased to be joined by John Litten, who is the president, CEO of the Greater Cleveland Habitat for Humanity. John, appreciate you taking some time. How does Habitat for Humanity tailor its approach to fit the needs of specific neighborhoods in Cleveland, like Westown?
That's a really good question. We like to focus directly into neighborhoods, even in just a couple street area within a neighborhood. We find that when we concentrate our efforts in one specific place, that there's added benefits that come of that. People get to know their neighbors, new families coming in. We also do home repairs on the same street on existing homes for existing residents. So when we sort of focus our efforts in that way, we see crime rates go down. We see home values increase faster than they normally would and things like that. And it's also important to note, because you referenced Westown, it's important for us to not swoop into a neighborhood and be the hero. There's already existing organizations like Westown that are there to be our partner, really, and to welcome us into the neighborhood and help us enter in. The first 5 houses we've done in the Ward 11, the current Ward 11 neighborhood or Westown neighborhood of Cleveland, are the first 5 new homes built in the last, 19 or 20 years or so. So it's been an honor to be able to join with the community and make a difference for families.
Well, how you mentioned the first that have been built in almost 20 years. How has the housing landscape changed in Greater Cleveland just over the last 5 to 10 years?
Well, if I may go a little earlier
Absolutely.
than that, I think post foreclosure crisis is really the story of where Cleveland is at. Where you had the foreclosure crisis, you had a lot of demolitions happening in Cleveland over a decade or so, which led to a lot of vacant land. The city of Cleveland alone has over 25,000 empty lots that exist as I speak today. 18,000 of those are held by the city land bank. And so that's really an open canvas for us to come in and do the work of Habitat for Humanity. And we've been able to do that through rehabs. We acquire homes and fix them up, of course, but through new construction as well, which is what we've done in the Westown neighborhood, 5 modular homes actually. So looking for ways to fill in those gaps wherever we can.
So what's the process like for families to qualify to own a Habitat for Humanity house?
It's a process. It's a lot of work, as you might imagine. And really, for any of us becoming a homeowner, it's a lot of work, right? And it includes, figuring things out financially, understanding how to fix up a home. And we do all that with the families that we work with. They go through a pretty rigorous training on everything from budgeting and fiscal literacy to fixing drywall and using power tools. So that part is a lot. They also have to give 200 to 300 hours of service as their down payment on the home. And that can be volunteering in our restores that are in the Westown neighborhood. That could be working on the house that they're going to live in, and it's through those workshops that I mentioned. But it is rigorous and often takes up to a year for a family to complete the process.
So what type of community benefits go beyond the homes themselves?
Well, and we have work to do in Westown, but in Buckeye, where we've worked extensively as well, and we work with Burton Bell Carr, the CDC there. We have built over 40 homes in just a 4-block area. We've also rehabbed homes in the area. And I bring that up because we're doing it alongside other nonprofits that are also doing work, whether it's CHN and rental housing, CMHA and public housing, working with Western Reserve Land Conservancy, and they're bringing in green spaces, adding cut-throughs between streets so people, it's more pedestrian friendly, working with pastors and having them, build up block clubs in the neighborhood and help empower residents that way. And when that happens, when all those things come together, we see crime rates plummet and we see home values increase faster than they normally would. And we see economic activity, Huntington Bank reopened their branch in that neighborhood. They don't do that because they're asked to or told to. They do it because the economics of a neighborhood change. And I think we're seeing that kind of activity in Westown as well.
How important are those relationships with the pastors and the churches and the community development corporations to Habitat for Humanity so you guys can achieve your goal? Right.
We are no savior. Like I said, we are not trying to swoop in and be the hero here. There's heroes that already exist in these neighborhoods, like Rose. And it's important for us to just join with them, see what's already happening, and see where we can, tack on a little extra through what Habitat does to help build up the economics of a neighborhood.
What are the goals? Obviously you're passionate about what you do. What keeps you going? What is it about Habitat for Humanity that you want to make sure everybody realizes relative to the communities and neighborhoods?
Well, I want to be clear, I have the best job in town. I have the best job in Cleveland. I really, really do. If you've ever seen the big reveal on TV shows and stuff like that, we get to do that 25 plus times a year, where we help a family realize their dream of becoming a homeowner, oftentimes in a family that has never had a homeowner in it. And we're turning the tide of generational poverty through that work. So that keeps me going. Cleveland has a lot of need, and an open canvas. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of spaces and places where we can do it. And I think we also have the right partners through our CDCs in Westown, through the city of Cleveland, through the county, to really get a lot done.
Are there areas in developments and communities that kind of make you smile, where you kind of, and you mentioned the Buckeye Woodland one, where you kind of look at it and it's like, man, there's a little neighborhood that's growing there.
Yes, it's amazing to really build intergenerational housing. So you're bringing in new families into a neighborhood, and you're helping seniors stay in their homes through major home repair work that us and the CDCs do. So it's those two things kind of coming together that builds the communities that I think a lot of us grew up with and would hope to foster elsewhere.
So a couple of things. How important is the community input to determining where Habitat for Humanity goes and helps develop? And how hopeful and motivated are you that you can keep growing these neighborhoods in the city, in Cleveland?
I'll answer that in reverse. I'm very motivated. I think we've got a lot going for us. We have an incredible team. We have hundreds of volunteers that want to do this work the traditional Habitat way, like Jimmy Carter and so many others have enjoyed. So the opportunity there is amazing. I missed the first question. I forget it.
How important is community input to determining where you go?
Oh, it's essential. Before we build somewhere new, we have community conversations, oftentimes hosted either by the CDCs or the pastors, to make sure that residents feel welcome, like they do have the opportunity to give feedback. We oftentimes, if we're working with an outside builder, we'll bring that builder in. Modular housing is something newer to Cleveland, so that's an example of specifically where we really wanted to have a lot of community input because we wanted people to understand that we weren't going to be putting in something that was going to fall apart. in a year or two, that it was something that was well built. We really strived to find a builder for those modular homes that was going to do something solid. And so we did that, but we also needed to communicate that to the public and have them ask every question possible.
Before I let you go, can you share a story that kind of encapsulates the mission of Habitat in Cleveland and these neighborhoods that you're helping to rebuild?
Well, I'd love to, briefly tell the story of Amber, who actually became a Habitat employee. She actually works in one of our resources. So we kind of get to know her a little bit better through that. But because of that, we've been able to watch her journey to becoming a homeowner. And you start to realize you don't think of it every day. If I'm in an office or I'm running around or here with you, I'm not necessarily hanging out with the families and understanding and seeing everything that they're going through. And through us getting to know Amber maybe a little better than we would have otherwise, I think I got to see how hard she worked, how hard her family worked. Her kids were volunteering as well towards this effort to become a homeowner. And she's done it. She's in a brand new home in Buckeye and couldn't be happier. So it's seeing her through her tears, through her husband's tears too, and realizing their dream that makes this all worthwhile.
John, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it very much. John Litten, he is President, CEO of the Greater Cleveland Habitat for Humanity. We're going to take one more time out here on Northeast Ohio Now. We continue to shine the spotlight on the Westown neighborhood. Stay with us.
I'm worried about Mom.
Mom? She's fine. These the ones, right, Mom?
Yeah, groundlings.
Sweet potatoes.
Daddy, it's salty.
Some things come with age.
And some don't.
Early detection of Alzheimer's can lead to better care for your loved one. Learn the early warning signs at 10signs.org.
We continue on Northeast Ohio Now, and we continue to shine the spotlight on the Westown neighborhood. Let's welcome in Jason Hamad, Executive Director of the No Surf House in Westown. So Jason, what is No Surf House and the vision behind launching in Westown?
Well, No Surf House is a nonprofit that focuses on music in Cleveland. We particularly provide housing for touring musicians who come and play in Northeastern Ohio. And sort of the vision behind that was I'm one of those people that have lived many lifetimes in one. I've done politics, I was a professional poker player for a little while, not a very good one. And I was, for about a decade, an independent music journalist. And I sat right where you're sitting and did interviews just like this with a lot of different independent musicians. And I heard so many stories about people sleeping in their vans, or people, staying with their uncle's best friend from college because that was the only person they knew in town, or they made $200 and they had to spend $250 on a hotel room. And it just came to me that, we have an opportunity for a nonprofit that could help these people out and provide more vibrancy in the Cleveland music scene. And so that's how No Surf came about. And my website was called No Surf Music. And that comes from itself, it's a Cleveland reference from the Euclid Beach Band, 1978 hit No Surf in Cleveland. And the reason we landed in Westown was because we did an extensive search all over the city for a place that we could rehab. We wanted a historic building if possible, also so we could get it cheaper and work our way in there. And Westown just turned out to be a great location because it's so central to the interstates. Not only are we within 10 minutes driving distance of a bunch of clubs on the west side in Lakewood, but we're just 20 minutes from the Beachland Ballroom all the way on the east side because you can just hop on 90 and be right to us. So that's why we ended up there, and we found a wonderful building. It was a duplex, and we've converted it into a single family house for our musician family. And we did a lot of work on it. I mean, when we got in there, you could reach up and grab the electrical wires and electrocute yourself, and we fixed that all up. and now it's a beautiful restored home. So we like to welcome everybody in there, especially our musician friends, and now we're really rolling.
So how does the space bring together, you mentioned the artists and musicians, but entrepreneurs and neighbors, all of them kind of come together. How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, number one, we have an open house every year. This one is going to be on September 7th. We want to welcome everybody in, and we love to have our neighbors come and visit us and see the house, especially now that we have what's called our Living Arts Initiative, which is producing art in our building itself. Our first artwork is a large mural that takes up 2 walls in one of the guest bedrooms. It's called Exodus by a local artist named Charlie Francis. And that gives us just a little bit of a combination art museum and hostel feeling. So it's really neat. And we have free beer, free hot dogs and hamburgers, and an open mic so that local musicians can come and play and listen to us. We also have folks that volunteer with us. We have folks that buy our shirts and wear them out and let the community know what we're all about. And we love to have people do that because it's a good conversation starter. We have a really cool logo, as you can see, never miss an opportunity for branding. And we love to have people out there just, telling people all about us.
You mentioned you wanted kind of a historical home. What does community revitalization mean to you, and why is it important to you? It's obviously important to you. Why?
Well, I actually grew up in Hudson, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, and we have a lot of great historical homes there, and they're all really well kept up and preserved. And I think we need to do more of that in Cleveland. And so when we were looking, we wanted something with character. And that we found. We wanted something with great bones, and that we found. And then we did the rest of the work to build it up and to restore it. And I just think it's so important in a great city like Cleveland to move forward, but to remember our history as well. And so one of the ways that we did that is by saving a building that was, kind of run down and fixing it up.
So in what ways do you partner with Westown Community Development Corporation and other local organizations?
Absolutely. It's really important for us to reach out with groups like Assembly for the Arts in Cleveland. They're a wonderful group. If anybody is involved in the arts, you should definitely join. And it's sort of a two-way street. We help them with their projects. They help us with our projects and getting the word out about us. We also work with the CDC. Certainly, Rose, who you just met, has been giving us some tips on grant filing because we're brand new. We were founded in 2023, so we're new to the grant making process, and so we're relying on them to sort of be a helpful hand in that process as well.
So, what kind of feedback are you getting from the residents and the community as well?
Well, the folks who stay with us all love it. I mean, it's a free room. You can't complain, first of all. But they really like the fact that, first of all, everybody gets their own room, unless you're a big band, and then we have to double up and stuff like that. But that is something you never see on the road. People love the fact that we have laundry. Sometimes when you're on a 20-day tour, you don't get to do laundry once. They just run in and go downstairs and just throw their stuff in there. They love that we have a kitchen because you don't get to cook your own food. And there's grocery stores right around the corner they can run to, buy their own stuff, and make it. So it's really been popular so far. We've already had a bunch of repeat guests in the just year that we've been open. And the community seems to love what we do. We're still getting out there and letting people know about us. And like I said, if you want to know more, please come to our open house. But once they find out about the idea, they're all about it. It's like, why didn't somebody think of that before?
So before I let you go, your hope for the future of Westown, the neighborhood, and how No Surf House fits in it.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things about Westown and the West Side in general is that people feel like there's nothing to do there. And I think that's just foolish. You don't have to go to downtown to have a good time. We have great restaurants. If you can beat the falafel at Assad's, then you're a better man than I am. We have great opportunities to go to the parks and enjoy yourself. We have great music. And we've got clubs like Brothers Lounge. We've got Dunlap's Corner Bar. We've got Spotlight Cleveland if you want local bands. All on the west side. And we want to help energize that, and that's one of the reasons why we're planning a festival in Westown for next summer, No Surf Fest, and we're going to bring in a bunch of Ohio bands, have a good time, let people know that this is really an energized neighborhood and that you can have fun right in your own little town.
Jason Hamad, Executive Director of No Surf House. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it. Best of luck and keep doing some good things in Westown.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure being here.
That'll do it for this edition of Northeast Ohio Now. We hope you enjoyed Westown. Get out there and take a look at some of the things that are going on. We'll see you again when we will spotlight another neighborhood throughout Northeast Ohio. Have a great night, everybody.